Hey guys, it's Nicole from Barbell Bombshell. I'm here discussing some stuff with Dr. Moses Bernard of Spectra Wellness. And we're kind of just going back and forth about CrossFit and powerlifting, weightlifting, sports in general, injuries, and why people get injured. What happens over time, whether it's like an acute thing or it builds up over the course of months, years.
Well, most of the injuries that we're going to see in most athletes, if you're CrossFit athletes or recreational athletes, even professional athletes, just has to do with the tissue being exposed to more force than it can handle, the tissue being overloaded. Now, this can happen acutely, so someone kicks me in the knee and my knee pops out, or it can happen chronically from me doing the wrong motion over and over and over and over and over again until something eventually breaks down. And what we want to do to make sure that this doesn't happen is build a buffer to protect ourselves over abnormal forces. So to use that first example, boom, I get kicked in the knee. Well, if I have a ton of strength and stability on the side of my leg, I can handle more force out here before I actually get injured. If I have good flexibility of my knee going this way, well, I can go through more range of motion before I get injured. If I have neither, I don't have good flexibility and I don't have a lot of strength and stability on the outside, it doesn't take a whole lot of force for me to get injured. And so if we look at, no matter who you are, even if you're a great athlete, there is a limit to what your tissues can handle. So if I can deadlift 1,000 pounds and I've got strength and stability that's way up here, if I try to do this, I can still get hurt. The good news is most of day-to-day life and activities are going to be down here. So I've got all this buffer of safety, of security net before I get hurt. But if my buffer's down here, and day-to-day life is occurring through here, and the activities that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis are here, well, my tissues are basically just one wrong move away from something getting messed up. So we want to build a buffer, build a capacity, both in extra range of motion on top of the activities we're going to do on a day-to-day basis, and strength and control outside of what we're going to do on a day-to-day basis. So if I'm going to be trying to do a snatch with 300 pounds, well, I better make sure I can hold more than that or stabilize more than that over my head. Otherwise, I'm pushing my limits. Now with the PR, hey, you're going to push your limits a little bit. But on our day-to-day training stuff, we want to make sure we're not pushing our limits every day. Otherwise, our tissues get overloaded. They get at risk of injury.
So, you want to be strong, but in the right capacity. And that means we have to do the stuff that's not sexy, Snatching is fun and kipping pull-ups and stuff like that. But what we need to, I think, get back to is the basics and, mobility and range strength.
Well, having strength without control is kind of useless. If I'm really strong here and useless there and there and there and there and there, and when I go to catch myself when I fall, kind of useless. So we don't want to just have arbitrary strength in one range of motion. We want to have good strength and control over every range of motion.
All right, I agree, because like I said, it's not sexy, it's not fun, and I know abs are great and everything, and being able to do the holy grail, muscle up in CrossFit, it's fun, it's exciting, but I think so many people are so hell-bent on that they want to skip phases and skip steps and not build a good foundation and kind of earn the right to do that.
Absolutely. We spend a lot of time talking about building a bigger engine, and we don't talk a lot about taking our foot off the brakes. And sometimes getting a muscle up or getting these kind of holy grail activities isn't just about getting stronger, it's about finding what's holding you back and fixing that. So it could be, hey, I've got all the arm strength in the world, but I don't have enough flexibility to do it properly. So in that case, getting more arm strength through my shitty range of motion isn't really going to help that much.
You're just stacking.
I'm stacking fitness on dysfunction. And that
like
puts me into a much worse place.
All right. So we're going to make some videos about kind of how to screen yourself for some of those basic dysfunctions and like the main joints and a lot of the movements that we use and see within CrossFit, and kind of see if you've earned the right to take it to the next level and build on top of that dysfunction. So we don't want to do that. So let us know if you guys have any questions. Again, it's just kind of going back and forth. I think it was important to kind of address that because injuries happen. I mean, we can do as much as we can to prevent and protect ourselves from that, but when we're constantly pushing our limits.
Well, injuries are going to happen. There's no way you can be 100% injury proof. We can decrease the risk. All right. There's no way you can 100% prevent the risk of getting or there is a chance of getting hit by lightning.
Sure,
okay?
exactly.
It's a very low chance, but there's still a chance out there.
Sure.
Okay? Now, if I'm standing on top of a lightning rod in the middle of a thunderstorm, that risk is a whole lot higher.
Right.
So we don't want to be doing that with our joints. And a lot of people unknowingly are.
Right, okay. And I think, you know, the risk for the most part as far as moving versus not moving is beneficial, right? I'd much rather you risk, you know, stubbing your toe to get up and go walk, or, you know, I'd rather you risk yourself, you know, within reason as far as exercise versus the risk of not, and what happens when you don't exercise and don't move.
Absolutely.
So, you know, risk versus benefit within any movement.
A torn rotator cuff sucks. Dying from a heart attack sucks more.
Exactly. But, you know, we could be smarter about preventing that torn rotator cuff.
We can not die from a heart attack and not have a rotator cuff injury.